Good morning, everyone. Welcome to New Thought Center. Welcome to the people here on the lanai, and welcome to the people watching the live stream. My name is Pasha McGregor. I'm in the facilitator chair today, and to my left is Babaji Bob Kindler, a dear, longtime friend of New Thought Center. And then the musician for today is Laurie, and you lucky people that came early, you've gotten a extra dose of her wonderful music. And she plays a very special instrument called a veena. You might think it was just a guitar if you didn't look carefully, but it can do lots of things a guitar can't do. And you'll be hearing more of that later as the service unfolds. So we're going to begin with a reading from Science of Mind magazine, and Cindy has agreed to do that for us today. Oh dear. Sorry about that.
Good morning, everyone. The reading today is called I Am Sky. As Longchenpa said, since everything is but an apparition, having nothing to do with good or bad, acceptance or rejection, one may as well burst out in laughter. Ernest Holmes says, all human endeavor is an attempt to get back to the first principles, to find such an inward wholeness that our sense of true doubt and uncertainty vanishes. In the Tibetan Dongchen, hope I'm saying that right, tradition, the nature of mind is often likened to the sky, vast, open, and fundamentally unchanging. Phenomena such as thoughts, emotions, life events, they're like clouds that pass through the sky. No matter how dark or turbulent the clouds become, they never alter the sky's essential nature. This aligns beautifully with the Science of Mind teaching that our true identity is not found in the transient circumstances of life, but in our divine essence, spirit individualized as us. Holmes taught that there is a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we can use it. But to use it rightly, we must first realize what we are not. We are not our fears, our conditions, or our past stories. These are the clouds. We are instead the ever-present, changeless field of divine mind, the sky. Holmes describes the law of mind as creative, impersonal, and responsive. In the same way the sky does not resist or cling to any one cloud, we are not bound by the fleeting nature of our experiences. We shape our reality through conscious alignment with the unchanging truth beneath appearances. When we identify with the cloud, with fear, limitation, and separation, we create from that illusion. But when we remember we are the sky, limitless, spacious, and eternal, we tap into the creative law and live from that power. The path, then, is not about attempting to control clouds. It is about remembering the constancy of sky, abiding in our true identity, and creating not from lack or fear, but from the knowing that wholeness is already ours. And the affirmation for today, I'll say it and then we can repeat it back. I am sky. I abide in the changeless field of divine mind. I am sky. I abide in the changeless field of divine mind.
Thank you, Cindy. That was beautiful. And how nice that we sit in this space where we can see quite a bit of sky. Not the whole thing, but we don't have to just totally imagine it. Well, for our opening prayer today, I've asked Babaji to share the peace invocation from the Upanishads. And any of you who know it, please feel free to join in. We did this on the India retreat in February of this year. We did this quite often. I'm afraid I didn't quite memorize it yet.
Om Sato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrichorma Amritam Gamaya Abira Bira Mayedi Rudrayate Dakshinam Mukam Tenamam Pahinicham Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, Mother of the Universe, lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from lower truth to higher truth. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from the illusion of death to eternal life. Reach us through and through, O Lord and Mother of the Universe, with thy sweet and benign presence. Om, peace, peace, peace. Peace be unto us, peace be unto all. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om Tat Sat.
Is so now is the first official musical offering of the service, now that we're past the 10 o'clock mark. So Laurie, take it away. That was wonderful. Laurie, is this the appropriate time that you'd like to say something about the instrument?
Hi, I'm Laurie, and the instrument is a vina built on a guitar. They call it a Hawaiian guitar, slide guitar. In India, they call it that because it actually came from Hawaii. So it's the vina with the 22 strings, most of which are sympathetic. And then it's built on this, so just kind of show you how it looks. So it has so normally there would be gourds coming, but they changed a little bit, make it easier. And then when you came in, I was playing Raga Bimpalasi. So I'll play the next part of that raga after the speaker finishes. And the song I just played is called Mani Damaj. And it's really about people working together in the fields and in everyday life, working to make their lives, the food, and bring in the harvest and make the food and doing the clothes, laundry together and being in community with each other. So,
Thank you. Well, a few more people arrived, so welcome to those of you that just came in. I know there's at least one person here for the first time, so I would like to take the opportunity to sort of introduce New Thought Center. We describe ourselves as a multi-faith community, not just interfaith, but multi. Our mission, at least the latest version of it, is to provide a sanctuary of aloha for the nourishment, development, and evolution of each individual's unique spiritual path. As far as our history, the root church that grew into New Thought Center of Hawaii was incorporated in 1971 in that was when they signed the papers with the state of Hawaii. That was called Kona Community Church of Religious Science, I believe. We've been through some name changes. I think when Babaji first met us, we were New Thought Church of Hawaii. Is that right? Yeah, okay. So the most recent change of name occurred in about 1999, 2000, around the time that we came to this facility in Kealakekua. But there have been Sunday services held almost continuously from 1971. Was primarily in Keaho for the first couple of decades, and then since 1999 here in Kealakekua. And thanks to the pandemic, it necessitated us becoming more skillful with online capabilities, and so now that we're able to meet in person again, we are so grateful for that. But we also realize that we have friends in other places and even here who maybe can't join us on the lanai. So we have continued to live stream in addition to meeting in person. So as far as our connection with the wider world, quite a few people who move or travel, they tell us, well, there's nothing quite like New Thought Center of Hawaii. And, well, that's okay, that's good. But there are some closely related churches and spiritual centers. We are affiliated with the International New Thought Alliance, which is an umbrella organization. It brings together groups and individuals who share certain attitudes and beliefs. Among them, the idea, a new thought embodied in consciousness produces a new condition. Judge Thomas Troward is credited with stating that for the first time. And that INTA includes unity churches and religious science churches, most of which now call themselves Centers for Spiritual Living, and then a few independent groups like ours that we don't have any other affiliation. We now have a sister church meeting in Waimea, the West Hawaii Center for Spiritual Living, with Libby O'Day as pastor. So we have a close relationship with that group, since Libby is also a member of New Thought and helped start our prayer ministry. Our logo, which was created by Morty Breyer in the late 1990s, if you look in the center of it, you'll see the symbols of quite a few of the world's faith traditions. So I think that's pretty much covers the basics. Now we want to know who you are. We're going to do an abbreviated version of our process in order to give Babaji some more time. I believe it's his first visit in 2 years, so we got a bit of catching up to do here. But I'd like anyone who's here for the first time, if you're willing, could you state your name and where you're from? Welcome, Kimberly from Minnesota. We love our snowbirds. Yeah. Is there anyone else that is first time at a New Thought service that would like to introduce themselves? Well, welcome, Ling from China. Ni hao. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anyone in the other section of the room that is here for the first time? Or are we all returnees? Okay. All right. Well, so Sally is not able to come this morning because of her duties, but she encouraged our visitors. She's our agent at Pineapple Park Hostel. So if she meets somebody that she thinks would be appreciating New Thought, she lets them know how to find us. So thank you, Sally, for that, if you're watching online. So now we know who they are, Ling and Kimberly. They don't know who most of us are, although some of you are wearing your name tags. So we're going to pass the microphone around, and if you feel comfortable, please just state your name. We're not doing the question in order to create more time for Babaji's talk today. Is it on? Okay.
My name is Lynn. I live in Captain Cook, otherwise known as Ka'awaloa Ahupua'a.
Just name is sufficient, please.
My name is Patty. My my name is Ling.
Kimberly.
Candy.
I'm Don.
What's your name?
Anna. Hi, I'm Anna.
Kaimana.
Jamie. I look at my name tag here. Oh, I'm Palmer. Paul.
Annapurna.
Kanya.
Imre.
Terry Lee. Jean.
Dama.
Cindy.
Gary.
Dennis.
Condor.
I am Alicia.
Last but not least, Stephen.
Oh, yes. Thank you all. Okay, so now is where we would normally have a song, but we're going to save it to combine with the offertory because it's a raga and it's better for a raga to have a little more time to do its work. So we're going to go straight on to the time of where you are invited to share your miracles and ordinaries if you feel moved to. Variously defined, especially if you read the Course in Miracles. I think there's about 100 definitions of what is a miracle, but I like some of these that they are miracles because they're unexpected, they remind us of truth, they change us. But they're also ordinary because they happen in the midst of our ordinary lives, and they're the stuff of our daily lives, and the lessons are there to serve us right now. So if you've had any experiences or insights that match up with any of those descriptors, come on up. The microphone is open. And I think we have time for about 2 or 3 miracles this morning, depending on the duration.
Again, I'm Anna. Mine was a true miracle. Last Sunday, y'all heard on the TV and radio and social media how terrible it was at the airports. I travel a lot. It was the easiest day of travel that I can remember. No lines at San Francisco International.
Is it me? Oh.
Notice how when we turned the speaker, the sound went away?
Yes. Now if we
Face the microphone.
we just have to remember to do that at the beginning of service. Yeah. All right. Well, if anybody had fallen asleep, they're awake now.
There's no sleeping. We all wake up eventually. It's a miracle my friend Terry Lee, who I haven't seen in, I don't know, over 20 years. 17 years? 7 years. Oh, okay. I've only been gone 7. Oh, well, I haven't seen you and before you even left. So time is, Anyway, I haven't seen you in many, many moons. And on Facebook, she goes, "Oh, I'm on island visiting family. I think you have a 1-year-old grandson. You have many. Great. Right. She's got many greats. And anyway, what a miracle to see you here again. And, it's amazing how we all are connected, no matter how many years. Love never dies. And I think that's a beautiful miracle about life. Anyway, thank you.
I'm Alicia, and instead of going into the past and recording, telling a miracle that happened to me, I'm heading ahead and share the miracle of my being. I'm so amazed quite often every day in the morning to look in the mirror, and here I am. I can feel myself. Wow, I am here now. And I've also been aware this week from shifting my thinking and my perception from 3D into 5D. The next dimension is pouring up. And so I see myself in this wonderful new home. I'm looking for one with a car, with everything supplied that I need. And I thank the miracles of this world to be right here now and everyone here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the miracles that have been shared this morning, and thank you for the miracles that you're holding in consciousness. And I want to acknowledge the miracle of Babaji being here, and some of the other wonderful people connected with his sangha. I will do the official introduction now. And lay minister, are you ready? Okay, well, you can do it after I finish. So Babaji Bob Kindler is the spiritual director of the Sharda Ramakrishna Vivekananda SRV associations since 1993. His primary teaching center is in Waimea on this island. Retreats are held along the Columbia Gorge on the west coast, and a full schedule of weekly classes and satsang are offered online. Babaji serves as SRV's primary Dharma teacher, and with the emphasis on the wisdom path, non-duality, meditation, and the practice of living a divine life. He holds a twin spiritual heritage via initiation into the Ramakrishna lineage, described as Vedanta, and the Kagyu Tibetan Buddhism also. He's the editor of The Nectar of Non-Dual Truth, a journal of universal religious and philosophical teachings. Magnificent publication. It comes out once a year. We have a few copies in our New Thought library. They seem too special to just be treated as magazines. So they're something you can borrow. And he is the author of over a dozen books on spiritual topics. I'm not going to enumerate all of them, but I'm going to mention two. The Actually, is the newest one, is it on this list, Annapurna? Oh, it is. Okay. Atmic Testament on Yoga, which is related to the teachings of Patanjali, right? Okay. And there's a 2-volume beautiful book. And then one which Jean and I each brought home one volume after our time in India with Babaji. It's called Footfalls of the Indian Rishis, and it's got, like, those of you that are sitting closer, you can see that chart. But Babaji's created, probably hundreds of those teaching charts, and they're just amazing. Each one is worthy of deep study. And so those 2 books are collections of them with some commentary and teachings to go with them. And those are going to become part of the New Thought library, but this is the first time I've brought mine. You can look at it. That's to the right of the prayer ministry box, so that one's not for sale, but the books to the left they can be purchased, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's another of his hats, is author of spiritual books, and his discourses can be found on YouTube along with other teachings if you go to the website www.srv.org. Babaji is also a lifelong musician and composer whose main training is in the Western classical music tradition. His compositions and 28 albums have either contributed to or drawn from or both traditions such as Indian raga and bhajan, contemporary jazz, New Age music, Hawaiian music, and more. And he plays cello. Just relative to his long connection to New Thought Center, he's along with Annapurna and some others. They have presented concerts here at New Thought. We've hosted them. This is a little flyer for concert with Jaima Music. That's the name of their music ensemble. And I don't remember if Annapurna was part of this, but Babaji participated in one or two kind of far out New Thought concerts early in the century, like between I think 2001 and 3, and we didn't own this place yet, so we had to rent the outdoor circle facility. But this is one of them, slightly dampened. But the performers: Manuel and Bernice Roberto, Don Choquette on crystal bowls, Jazz Marlin didgeridoo, and Babaji Bob Kindler on cello. Yay! So, lay minister, are you ready? Babaji, I'm going to relocate till the conclusion of your talk. Okay.
Thank you, Pasha, for that much too long introduction. I'm not here to teach you. I'm just here to share what I have found to be the truth in my life of practice with spiritual traditions, particular Vedanta. In Vedanta, we like to. Oh, and by the way, I was at the Kona Theater up there. Used to be, I think, and I was giving Shivaratri celebrations there throughout the 1990s into 2000. And there were people like Gary Dickens there. He was one of your Big Island artists. And the Shaivites would come out of the hills and sing and dance. We had read, I think it's the Kona Theater, isn't it? It used to be up there, or Kona Cafe, or Aloha Theater. Is that it? Yeah, we filled that place for several decades whenever Shivaratri came around. So that's how long we've been associated with this particular area. So that comes to mind when you show that old poster. Jaima Music was always worshiping Lord Shiva with beautiful bhajan and kirtan nights. But as I was saying, in Vedanta, we always like to acknowledge all beings. So, and before I give a discourse, which I like to call them, on Vedanta, and as you'll find, it includes aspects of Tantra and Yoga and what they call Samkhya Yoga, and Patanjali Yoga, the new book. I like to give the acknowledgement in the form of a peace chant, so I'm going to start with that, to honor all beings, not only the ones that we see here, but all those that are unseen and hidden inside of us. Om Sham no Mitraha Sham Varunaha Sham no Bhavat Varyama Sham no Indra Brihaspatihi Sham no Vishnu Rakamaha, Namo Brahmane, Namaste Vayu. Pratjaksham Brahmasi, Ritam Varishami, Satcham Varishami, Brahmam Varishami, Tanman Avatu, Tadvaktaram Avatu, Avatu Mam, Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Salutations to all beings. Salutations to the gods and goddesses. Salutations to the ancestors. Salutations to humankind. And salutations to the subhuman species. Salutations to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the great Trinity, and salutations to the formless Brahman. Thou art what is real, what is true, and what is beneficial. Therefore protect us, protect our teachers, protect Guru, Dharma, and Sangha forevermore. Om, peace, peace, peace. Peace be unto us and peace be unto all. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om Tat Sat. And the peace chants then go on reciting Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshu Shrotra Matru Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani. That is, may our bodies experience perfect health. May our life force, prana, flow unimpeded. And may our minds expand in their capacity to know Brahman, the reality. And that Brahman then appears to us in the form of Dharma, which is the subject of my talk today. I brought a chart just for you to look at maybe afterwards. It's probably too far away to see the details, but basically the topic of the chart is, at least half of it is called the Purusharthas, or the four fruits of life. It's a divine mother teaching in India. Probably predominantly she's known as Durga. And of course, more terrifically and sensationally, she's known as Kali. And she also has aspects of Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, and Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. Those are probably the main aspects that most people know about her. But in India, she's given her own special religion. It's called Shaktism. Shakti is divine power. It's actually power that is divine in origin, but can be used for non-divine purposes, like building battleships. Remember, not too many years ago, they insulted us by sailing battleships from every country into the harbor out here. And unfortunately, India's flag flew on one of them. I was ashamed of India at that point, because nonviolence is the premise for spirituality and yoga. It's the first premise of yoga, is nonviolence, called ahimsa, you might have heard, as Gandhi preached. So if you're going to stick to the truisms or axioms of Vedanta, Veda is the ancient scriptures of India, and Anta means particularly the more advanced and later teachings called the Upanishads. Interesting word, upa, teacher, ni, not, sad, truth, that destroys the knots of the mind, because it's in the mind where all ignorance is. So if you're going to speak on those axioms, then you always acknowledge these great beings. So when I said Sham no mitraha, Sham varanaha, I'm speaking to water, I'm speaking to air. I say Sham no Bhavat Varyama, Sham no Indra Brihaspati. Indra is the god of all gods. Brihaspati is the teacher of all beings. The original guru, Brihaspati. So these are all ancient words in Sanskrit. Deva Bhashya, Deva is the language of the gods, in which a whole cross-section of a subcontinent in this world got enlightened. That's India. So those Upanishads are being quoted from. The peace chants come from them, which we chanted to begin the whole series here this morning. And I'm very privileged and happy to be here, by the way. So when it comes down to speaking of India's great teachings, there's this word that comes up called Dharma, and that's the first fruit of life. Dharma, Kama, Artha, Moksha is what you'll see across here. Basically, Dharma means, good luck defining that word, they say, but you could probably more easily define it by lack of it. That is, lack of righteousness in the world. We want to keep up certain practices that maintain the Dharma in our lives. So the Buddhists, it's a big word in Buddhism, Jainism, who are very nonviolent, and also in Hinduism and Vedanta and yoga, that word Dharma comes forth as the main thing. Sometimes when you hear contemporary teachers, and I'm rather critical of many of them, when they teach about the four fruits of life, they'll put Artha and Kama first. So Artha is wealth, basically, and Kama is desire. You don't want those first. India says, the rishis say, you want Dharma first, because if you have righteous thinking and righteous acting, thoughts, words, and deeds, and then your wealth will come legitimately, and so will your desires, and they'll get fulfilled, and you won't have karma accruing at the end of the process. In any particular train of thought, any particular series of deeds you do, or in a whole lifetime by the time you're passing. Talking to someone today about people right now who are passing away. Yeah, there's a little bit of overall feedback, but I don't know if I'm causing that.
You could tilt the microphone closer to your face.
Is that better? Yeah, great. So Dharma has to come first. That's the way my teacher, Swami Ashishanandaji Maharaj, whom may peace be upon him always, taught. He always put Dharma first so that Artha and Kama, wealth and desire, would be rightly attained. But the beautiful thing about that teaching is that in India, everything should culminate in moksha. And moksha means liberation. It's one of the things that most other religions don't bring forth, because in India they have a special love for formlessness, and like Buddhism does. Buddhism is one of the aspects of that. So formlessness is rather a difficult thing for most people to manage, even though at least half of their day is spent in formlessness. It's called deep sleep. Deep sleep is called shishupti in Sanskrit. So we go into a formless state where there are no worlds, there are no thoughts, there are no ego. We don't know who we are. Like you're looking at your name tag trying to remember, who am I, who is this, I'm me again, I like that. What is my name? Who am I, in other words? So basically that moksha is something very rare in the practice. It's a Divine Mother teaching, because none will survive the fury of her illumination. No form will exist in the end. And it's best that we get used to that. So that's called Advaita Vedanta. That's the non-dual portion of everything, and it concentrates in on formlessness. It completes the picture of ritualism. It completes the picture of daily practice. It even completes the picture of meditation, because people having a good meditation will go into a formless state. There is, of course, meditation on God with form. We call that Ishvara. Your Buddha, your Krishna, your Jesus, you're meditating on them in your heart. That's form, that's God with form. But India is very advanced in its thinking about that, is that God is essentially formless. And you are essentially that. That thou art, as they say, tattvamasi. So in order to make ourselves comfortable with formlessness, then, as Vivekananda, my great teacher, said, life is just a rehearsal for death. So at all times, like I'm looking out now, I'm speaking to air, I'm speaking to water, I'm speaking to fire, everything. I just acknowledged all these beings these gods are, I speak to them because they're inside of me first and they come out later as nature. So I've always liked speaking here because I can look past you to the ocean. No insult intended. But I look to that formlessness back there. Blue ocean melding into blue sky, and it just puts me in a high mood right away. It's easy to talk about spirituality and God when you have formlessness in mind or nearby. So anyway, if the philosophy gets a little bit beyond your ken of reasoning or thinking, I'm sorry for that, but it's an important part of Vedanta to bring that forward. That's why Pasha wants me to speak with you, because she knows I'll transmit some of that to you, as my teacher did to me. So, when you speak about Dharma, righteousness, just call it righteous acts, and then you go and fulfill yourself by getting wealth. I was speaking to a man yesterday, a realtor who just bought 100 acres of land and so forth, and so he's older, and he's just got this huge desire to accumulate land, And I'd say it's very difficult to call our society dharmic, and if you know what I mean. It's also kind of unfair to call it adharmic, not righteous. But when you're sailing battleships around with your flag on them into people's waters, then it's quite doubtful that you're following the premises of ahimsa or nonviolence. You've got some ulterior motives in there somewhere. And that's why Dharma is so important to learn these teachings, as I did from if you want to call him that, a Hindu man. I learned from 2 or 3 different swamis. Later on I had many brother swamis that I communicated with. So I didn't learn from Westerners, I learned from Hindus. And that's a big difference in philosophical standpoint when you can get it from the source like that. They say get it from the horse's mouth, but in India you get it from the cow's mouth. Because the cow is most sacred there. If you go about accumulating wealth then, and you can do it dharmically, then you'll skip most of the karma that's coming your way if you don't do it dharmically. That's why people suffer. I mean, basically, the first noble truth of Buddha is suffering is. Right? So we were talking about that the other day. It's basically people hear that and they say, well, I have to steady my mind for this teaching. And I have to it's like getting used to formlessness, right? So I have to get used to the fact that suffering sin is. So I say, if you're a Hollywood Buddhist, and you haven't accepted the fact that suffering is, you're just living a pleasurable life with lots of money and lands and everything, then you're not really a Buddhist at all, they say. So you see the monks walking around, Tibetan monks and Zen monks and so forth. I mean, they've really taken that premise of Vedanta seriously, that the world is just not real. Even science has proven that with its vibrating particle theory. So there's nothing solid here, there's nothing substantial here, there's nothing that will fulfill your desires here. In that regard, then, you should take to the Dharma and expand your knowledge of the Dharma and place your mind in the Dharma and keep it there until insight or realization comes to you. Do your practices dharmically. Your whole life has to be dharmic so that these negative tendencies will come in. I think you can roll off the bass a little, maybe, in that. I'm also a sound engineer, so it might help. So a few words about Dharma, although you could talk about it for a long time. There's following on Dharma then is this wealth, this artha, and following on that then will be kama, and everyone knows that word. I thought it was always kind of funny that
we were not able to do a sound test.
Yeah.
This is what happened. You were too busy to do a sound test, so I'm sorry. You were only as loud as you can be.
Yeah.
But we weren't able to do a sound test.
My fault, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Turn it maybe.
So, that speaker, it's so...
Testing, 1, 2, testing. Yeah. That's
Closer to your mouth is going to sound better. So
Okay.
then he can turn the volume down on the amp. Oh, yeah. The closer
Is
you
better?
Sound check, sound check. Yeah, it's. I think the bass is causing some of that, as I said.
I had to take down mids because that was causing it. I have you as loud as I can get you on the board, otherwise more is going to happen. Last time I turned down the bass, it got really bad. So,
Your fault.
it's the building. So we have to plug it over here, not over there, because the building gives vibration.
Yes, right. Everything's vibration.
It's all vibration. So it's all noise of the mind to think that something is wrong. Right?
Very well.
Presence.
Hello. It's very bassy. It's very bassy. I think you could roll that off. Testing, testing.
Your presence
Yeah.
is more powerful than anything anybody's hearing. I just want to acknowledge that.
All right. So I'll get close to this. I don't speak very loud anyway, so
Taking all the highs down, and the bass is at mid. If I take the bass down, you get really crackly.
your room is, you're right, it's the room. It's open air and all that.
It's all of that.
Yeah. I empathize. I've had to do that. I've been sitting in your chair many times. Back to Dharma, Artha, Kama. Because moksha is sort of saved for a special place, that liberation from all suffering. So suffering is what we talked about, right? And so some people get ready for that by thinking that I have to make myself amenable to suffering. So I'm going to have to either forbear it or just first accept that it's in my life, and then I can maybe more easily forbear it. However, there is a transcendence of suffering that happens that's not mentioned that much. It's mentioned more in yoga, is that you must get beyond the pairs of opposites, pleasure, pain, life, death, virtue, vice, good and bad, and so forth. And so a transcendence of suffering can happen if a person can attain that peacefulness of mind, if there's no feedback in the mind, as we say. So, and if that happens, then you've got a doorway open to moksha. Basically, it's the word in yoga is nadi. You open up a channel inward, and we travel along those channels every night when we go to see our ancestors and see beings. So that's why heaven is really, as Jesus said, inside of you, and that heaven is in your dreams. When you dream, you are in heaven. You don't have to wait for a post-mortem emancipation to go there. So the thing is with India, though, is that it wants you to get beyond the desire for heaven, because the same things are in heaven as are here. That is, same things are in your waking state as are in your dreaming state. So you're just taking and extending those two states. They're mirrors of each other. Deep sleep is where the key is. And in two ways. Deep sleep means that there's a formlessness that comes upon you where your own consciousness appears to you and your ego disappears and gets out of the way. Problem with deep sleep, according to the rishis or the Indian seers, is that you don't realize consciousness there because you come back to your ego. You come back to the world, and you come back to your desires, and you come back to your wealth and all of that. And that's left an impression on your mind called a samskara. Western psychology would, deal with the psychosis of that, the outer manifestation. But India deals with the inner imprint of samskaras in your mind. So if you're in deep sleep, that's one notable, that it doesn't transform you when you go into deep sleep, even though you're in samadhi. It's called swapna samadhi. And the other thing about deep sleep is that most people, even seers, don't realize quite often, is that that's where all the seeds for nature are. So everything has to have a source. And so everything that's the source of what I just chanted, trees, air, fire, suns, moons, they name them gods, right? Chandra and Surya and Vayu and Prana and so forth. They give them names, but basically that's because they know that they all exist back inside of you as powers first, and that nature itself has a sleepy time. It's called pralaya. Everything goes into abeyance for ages and returns to its formless essence. The difference between you and nature is that you return to a formless essence that's sentient, and nature returns to a formless essence that's non-sentient. It doesn't have any consciousness in it, like you do. And therefore they've drawn the conclusion that in deep sleep, when all these seeds are there, they're in your deep sleep state, right? They're not somewhere outside of you. So when they say everything is within you, then that's a great realization that some seers have, and they put that together. They say that basically everything exists within you, the kingdoms of heaven, but so does consciousness in its formless essence. But you would have to transcend nature to get there. Not a popular concept in this world, I can tell you. So that's called koivaya in Sanskrit. So it's isolation from nature. So you naturally, it's like the Divine Mother or the Lord is naturally separating yourself from your ego, because it's very hard for you as an individual to do that. Look at your name tag and it all comes rushing back on you. But the Divine Mother herself, you being her child, her sons and her daughters, will do that for you every night. The Father of Yoga says that. Basically, koivaya pratishta swarupam va chitti shakti iti. That is, the chitti shakti, the mother of your thoughts, will take you into koivaya and strip name and form away from you and return you to a state of liberation. Isn't that beautiful? That's like one of the last of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Patanjali, by the way, if you haven't heard of him, is the father of yoga. That's what he's named. And that's real yoga there. It's called Raja Yoga, or sometimes eight-limbed Ashtanga Yoga. That's the yoga you want to practice if you're serious about liberation. That is, realizing that you're always free. When they say liberation, it's not something that you get, post-mortem emancipation again. It's something that you are. So you have to kind of meld this Advaitic non-duality that's so deeply realized by the seers with this practical art of, living in a state of separation from it, which the ego dictates on you. And so, when you pass the microphone, if you're at my class, you wouldn't be saying your name. You'd be saying, I'm the Atman, I'm the Atman, I'm the Atman, I'm the Atman. So I wanted to take up to each person and whisper in their ear, when you say your name, just say Atman. Because Atman is the divine indivisible self. It's birthless, it's deathless, it's timeless. Your clock is very interesting here. I was meditating on it because the second hand has become fused to the minute hand. So it goes, so it's like time is stopped, right? Whenever I come to New Thought Church, it's like there's no seconds passing. So that's Lord Shiva. It's named Kala, right? It means the god of time. And Kali is his consort, the mother of time. So basically they've somehow gotten into the New Thought Church here and tried to give you a clue about it. Anyway, that self within you is birthless, deathless, timeless, spaceless. That is, in deep sleep there's no space either. There's no planets. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the deeper you go into Brahman, the further away you'll go from the world. So this dictates that there's some impressions in our mind that are attached to nature that we need to transcend in order to get rid of suffering. Suffering is of 6 types: birth, growth, disease, old age, decay, and death. Those are called the 6 transformations. In your Atman, you don't change. There's no change in you. Change only happens in nature. You're the changeless essential being. You must have heard this many times. But you have to mate it together with what's changing externally and what's not changing internally. That's separating the wheat from the chaff. Jesus knew all about that. And later, and earlier than Jesus, he might have even gotten it from India, that particular teaching, but earlier than him, the rishis of India, thousands of years earlier, were talking about that as viveka. So I must discriminate between what's changing and what's not changing. And I must then identify myself with the unchanging, with a capital U. I am the unchanging essence in everything. I'm consciousness in everything. I'm pure awareness of everything. And Shivaham, Shivaham, I am that Lord. And then you find that there's this nadi opening up in you when you think this way for non-duality. Now I can have not just peace of mind, I can have the peace that passes all understanding, right? Peace of mind is good. You get that by overcoming depression and restlessness. Tamas and Rajas, if you heard that teaching, the gunas in Vedanta, Tamas and Rajas. You must get over depression or restlessness, Rajas. And you must gain sattva. And sattva is the third guna. That means basically balance. If I can keep myself in balance long enough, then I can get that peace of mind. If I can keep that peace of mind long enough, then I can get that peace that passes all understanding. And that's called samadhi in India. Not just sleep samadhi, because when you come out of sleep, you're not transformed. Nobody can say anything about deep sleep. They come out of deep sleep and they say, somebody asks them, what did you experience there? I don't know, but I feel great. You know? So if you don't have deep sleep, then you turn into what Gaudapada, great non-dualist, called a nervous wreck. He was the first person that coined that phrase. He lived at 600 AD. So that nervous wreck state will come upon you. And I used to joke about that. You know, it's not like, you know, I can't get to sleep is the opposite problem. So you've got restlessness. So they take Samanex, you know, so I call that Samanex Samadhi, right? You can't get peace of mind using a medicine either. You've got to go into a natural state of formlessness. And meditation is what you usually use that for. But the problem with meditation is that the ego is still involved. And in the way of that also is the fact that people are attached so much to the form that they want to try and go towards the highest form. That's your Ishvara form. And that's good. But that also melts away in formlessness. There's no Jesus, Buddha, or Chaitanya, or anyone in your deep sleep, is there? So the names and forms of God also disappear in that highest state, which is your true essence, Advaita. That's your true essence, Swarupa it's called. So what's standing in the way of that is this attachment to nature. And when one gets over the idea that I'm a physical body, or I'm made of 5 elements, and you know, in Vedanta you do that by worshipping 5 elements. You don't negate them, like in some paths. So your ancestors, for instance, they're a great problem for you. That's called rebirth, by the way. And Buddha was the one who came forth and told us how much a problem your family was. I see people with, don't mess with family bumper stickers on their cars. Oh, they're so far away from understanding what I have to give them. So you could worship your family, your ancestors, you perpetuate them so they'll let you go, so you can get free. Otherwise, everything's holding you down here. And you want freedom first and foremost. Buddha left home. Christ left home. 14, he was on the steps of the temple. Every great Ramana Maharshi left home. Early on, and my family's a weight around my neck. Buddha had a son, did you know that? Buddha had a wife and a son before he left the palace. What did he call his son? Rahula. Weight around my neck. You see, he left them. Because enlightenment and God were first and foremost to him. Then he came back later and freed them. That's got to be the way of it. If you have an objection with this teaching of liberation and formlessness, then you have to free yourself first, and then you can free others. The mistake that's being made is that you're listening to people who aren't free. And they're transplanting in your mind their lack of freedom. Their bondage is being given to you through your families. You can love your grandmother and your grandfather and your children, and you should worship them so that they'll stand out of the way and you can get free, and you can return later to free them. That's why formlessness and liberation are so important. Otherwise, we're tripping over ancestor lineages. And Buddha was the one who brought that forth. Interesting, he brought it forth in India, not in America or Europe. He never left the subcontinent. So this kind of preamble, you might say, to the real meaning of liberation has to start with Koivaya. You have to look at nature and say, first of all, I'm not that. Second of all, the seeds to it are in me, right? I mean, those two realizations are so profound, and you never heard them taught by teachers. I'm not the 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, ether. I'm not the 5 senses, tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, and smelling. I'm not. That's called na, neti, neti. I'm not those things. That was just Science of Mind just told you that in that article. That's what they were saying. And I was surprised to hear that something so profound is being read from Science of Mind like that. That's the focus of Advaita Vedanta. They want you to hear that all the time, not just once a week on Sunday. Because this is the truth of the matter. And so, not this, neti neti. Then after that, you can start saying, maybe I'm all this, you see. Iti comes next. So neti neti first, get yourself detached from everything, and then all of a sudden, when name and form go away, you see your nameless, formless essence, and then there you are. I'm the Atman. I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahman. That thou art. I and my Father are one. However you want to say it, the truth finally dawns on you. And with that truth comes the realization that God is with form and God's beyond form both. It's not one or the other, as Ramakrishna so clearly told us. In that regard, then, you set yourself up for being free, at least by the time you leave your body. You have your ducks in a row, you see. You have all your philosophy straight, right? And you can leave the body behind without fear and doubt, because death is an illusion. I've received a command from the Divine Mother of the Universe that death must die. You see? Ram Prasad sings that in one of the songs. Death itself must die. So it's an illusion. It's been foisted upon you by your ancestors. Oh, here's your birthday. Oh, when am I going to die? Don't think about that. See. So most people won't see God except in what little light there is of God in nature. I don't believe myself that God's in nature. I think nature is in nature. God is outside of nature. And you'll find in deep sleep that you will see that light. Nobody sees nature and God at the same time. You see sun and darkness here. You see good and bad here. You see war and peace here. You see name and form here. You see bondage and liberation here. You see. But that one non-dual reality you don't see unless you go into samadhi. And that samadhi is going to dictate that you get koivaya, freedom from nature, freedom from decay, birth, growth, disease, old age, decay, and death. That's called sadurmi in Vedanta, and it's called the 6 transformations in Buddhism. They both agree, except Buddhism will throw in hunger and thirst as 2 of them, too. You know, how do we get rid of those? How do we satisfy hunger and thirst? That's my cue that my time is running out. And I was just getting into it, too. Anyway, to sum it with a couple sentences then, the 4 fruits of life, Divine Mother teaching is a wonderful thing to contemplate Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, or that balanced life lived in the spirit, and then gaining objects and having desires legitimately in the Dharma, and then always knowing that in the end, you are none of this. You're ever free from it. You can live in yoga, union. Yoga means union. You can always live in yoga with the divine being that is your own self. If you hold this last of the fruits precious, again, not so much even saying I will be liberated, but I always am liberated, as that reading told us. I am that. It's not becoming, it's being. Becoming is something that you have to get over after a while. That's transformation. It's what's changeless. So Shankara says it nicely in the Vivekachudamani. Moksha is not something to be attained. That's liberation is not something to be attained. It's something always at hand. So thou art free. So Vivekananda says that. There is just one self, the free, the knower, the Atman. In him is Maya dreaming all this dream. The witness, he appears as nature and soul, and thou art that. Swami Vivekananda sang the sannyasa. So God is appearing as nature and as individual souls, but is not that. You're the witness of that consciousness. So basically, that's a quick 40-minute summation of the four fruits of life. Thank you. Purusharthas, yeah.
Purusharthas. That's our new vocabulary word for the day. Purusharthas. Did I get it right?
Yeah, P-U-R-U, Puru. Sharthas, Purusharthas. Four fruits of life.
That was very refreshing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's Dharma here, and I've been waiting for many months to recognize Dharma, the person. I know it's here. Just a second. Okay. Ah, yes. Okay. Dharma, will you please come forward? I want to recognize you as a member of New Thought Center. Appreciate you being here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the time of the offering, and we will be circulating our beautiful koa bowl, but the offertory music will probably extend beyond that until Laurie feels like it's complete. Is that right, Laurie?
How would you tell me when?
How would I tell you without interrupting?
Just interrupt if I'm going too long.
I'll say Purusharthas. Okay.
I just have to tear a little bit.
Okay. And thank you in advance for whatever you're able to put into the koa bowl. When I was young and poor, one time I put a lemon in there because that's what I had in abundance. Then you can take it. Yeah. Well, Babaji, could you tell us if there are ways that people sitting here or watching on the live stream can get more of what you shared today? Like if there's ways they can participate in your online classes, or if you have retreats in the planning stages.
You pass the microphone to Annapurna maybe, and you could just tell.
Oh, she's going to.
Oh, okay.
Not listening.
Hi. Okay, so you can join our email list. You can do that here, or you can go on our website. It's very easy, srv.org. And on the home page, you'll see a place to sign the email list. But we also have a calendar section, and that'll show you what's happening, and a retreat section. But just to be really quick, we have a wonderful seminar. Babaji will be giving a 3-day seminar, and Hawaii time, it goes from 6:30 or 7, depending upon where you want to start, all the way with a break into the very early afternoon. So, and that's going to be on, oh, it's so good, but I'm blanking right now.
It's just after Christmas, right?
Yeah, it's the one that's right after Christmas. And it's on awakening to eternal existence through the oracle of the Divine Mother. So, yeah. So that's the next thing. And hope you can join us. But something that wasn't said is that Babaji's classes on Sunday in Waimea, they conflict with the... No, they don't.
No.
They don't, that's right.
Yeah.
His classes start at 2:30, and they're in person. We would love to see anyone from here come, so.
If we're, sometimes speakers offer a class or a workshop, but not every Sunday. So there certainly are Sundays when that could happen. I know that some of our emeritus members of New Thought used to do that. Just come here in the morning and then get in the car and, drive up to Waimea. It's a lovely drive. So also there's beautiful books, and Annapurna, will you kind of be there to do the business after we complete our song? Okay, great. So unfortunately, Babaji isn't able to join us for lunch today, but he will stick around for at least a few minutes. And so if you have like really important questions that you need to ask, it's funny, he already answered mine without my asking, but you just had to think it. So okay, well then I will proceed to the New Thought announcements. Sunday services pretty much every day, every Sunday, 10 a.m. in person and by live stream. Once the live stream is over, a video gets created automatically on YouTube. We offer free childcare, but we do need a reservation by the Friday before. Since we don't have children every week, we have to make sure that we do make those plans when someone's planning to bring a keiki. The next 3 Sundays, here's what you have to look forward to. Next Sunday, the 23rd of November, Rashani Rea and Carrie Sender co-presenting. The topic is Sung by a Flicker of Uneven Light, Exploring Poetry as a Portal into the Great Mystery with Music by Rashani. Rashani was a close associate of Thich Nhat Hanh for many years and has her own sort of eco-sanctuary called Kipuka Maluhia at the south end of the island. On the 30th of November, Manuel Roberto will be here. His topic is Amazing Grace, and the music will be by Bernice and Manuel. Many of you remember them, I think, and they were important part of the New Thought community for decades. They now live in Florida, but they try to come annually for a few weeks or months. And on the 7th of December, the first Sunday of December, we won't have a speaker, but we'll be celebrating the holiday spirit. It's our day to trim the tree and deck the lanai. We invite all of you to come and be the elves, and music will be provided on our keyboard by Kathy Cohen. People who want to can hang around the keyboard and sing Christmas songs. So there will be a mini service probably for less than half an hour, and then we'll release the elves to do their decorating. And a light lunch will be provided at the end of the process. Probably it'll probably last longer than an ordinary service, probably till 12:30 or 1, but then you'll be fed. Weekly classes, we have Tai Chi and Qigong here on the Lanai, 4:30 to 5:30, $15 per class. More advanced students can come half an hour early from 4 to 4:30. You can get personal coaching in long form. I forget what you're supposed to call them. Different aspects of long form. And that's just an extra $10. It's very personalized. On Wednesdays from 4:30 to 5:30, Mahina teaches hula in the Honua room. She accepts all levels and $15 per class. If you commit to being a regular, you get a reduced monthly rate. Monthly events, we have 3. The one that's coming up the soonest is Star Root will be leading the meditation for the earth. She does that on the 3rd Thursday at 3:33. Just think 3. And that'll be here on the Lanai, the 20th of November. It's a free event with an option to donate to New Thought Center. The next in line will be end of the month potluck, the last Sunday. That'll be the 30th of November, the same Sunday when Bernice and Manuel will be here. Crystal Bowl meditation happens on the 2nd Sunday. The next one is on the calendar for the 14th of December. That's actually before the main service from 9 to 9:30, and it's free with the option to make a donation to New Thought Center. Then finally we get into we're really launching the holiday festivities. The first thing that's going to be the first 2 involve Thanksgiving, and the soonest one is happening on the 24th of November. That's a week from this coming Monday. It's the Interfaith Thanksgiving concert. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Lutheran Church at the Mackay end of Laco Street. It's free, but food and cash donations for the food basket are encouraged. And representing New Thought Center this year will be Bernice and Manuel Roberto and Jean-Pierre Thomas. They're all wonderful members of our music ministry team. Bernice plays harp, Manuel all sorts of flutes, and Jean-Pierre Thomas plays flute and all kinds of brass instruments. And Bernice does the vocals. They'll be doing 2 songs as part of that program, which involves, I think, 11 or 12 faith traditions of the Kona area. It should be a wonderful occasion. It's kind of like the people that are all meeting in their little separate tents to worship God in their own way. They all come together under one big tent, and we get to meet each other and hear lots of music. And there's refreshments afterwards. So by the time it's finished, you'll probably be hungry. And if any of you want to participate in donating something for the refreshment table, see me after the service. I think, okay, so that's the one that's coming up really soon. Then on Thursday, actual Thanksgiving Day on the 27th, you're all invited to come and have your Thanksgiving meal here on the Lanai. There's a sign-up sheet. The particular foods that are traditional for Thanksgiving, they're already listed, and we need at least one person to sign up for each of those, but not the turkey, because New Thought will take care of the turkey and the vegetarian alternative for people who don't eat turkey, a vegetarian main dish. But then the rest of it is potluck, so it's up to us to fill in the blanks. And that, you'll find it on that table very close to Tom Turkey, the stuffed one, and he's a puppet, that kind of stuffed. And there's also some, on yellow paper, some invitations you can take either for yourself to remind you of these details, or if there's somebody in the community you want to invite, because this is you can invite anybody. Everybody celebrates Thanksgiving, and lots of us have family in other places, and we're like the Ohana that's here. Okay, and that's totally no cost. And then we're starting to work on the planning for Christmas Eve candlelight service. There's a sign-up sheet for that. We don't have any stuffed creature to mark that, but it's right next to the turkey. Okay, and we want singers, musicians, readers, greeters, tech people. Maybe you have an idea we haven't thought of before. So it just says, what would you like to share? So if you want to be part of that, just name, phone number, and what you feel moved to share, what you think will be your way of participating in that event. That's something we've been doing since 1980s, I think, the Christmas Eve candlelight. So it's the closest we have to a real tradition in New Thought, I think. So finally, if you want to submit a prayer request, there are little papers you can fill out, put it into the carved wooden box with the Honu on top, and the New Thought Prayer Ministry will help amplify your prayer for the next week in a confidential, private way. Okay, so
Pasha,
did I cover everything?
can I do a really, really quick announcement?
Please.
Okay, so I got a call from one of our off-island members who's going to come visit the island, Christina Yates, and she wanted to put out there December 3rd through the 17th. She's looking for a short-term rental. And then she's going to be returning on January 7th for 4 months. So if anyone knows of, or you have a space, yeah, and if you need her number, I have her number.
Could you put that on the bulletin board?
Yeah.
Because then people can think about how does that fit with their calendar and their resources.
Okay,
Yeah, with Christina, of course, I remember her. She migrates every year. She tries anyway, and she's usually successful. Okay. Well, to conclude this gathering, we're going to form a big circle, and we'll be singing just the one verse of Hawaii Aloha this week. We're working on the other verses, but so just look at the words on the top panel, and there's 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and so circle up, and you're able to accompany us. Laurie, are you able to accompany us? But you're not going to lead it with your voice, right? Okay, let's just. Is there anyone that can?